Back here with Chris Broussard, we're talking Ben Simmons, who turns 23 on Saturday. As an early happy birthday, Ben Simmons, the Sixers gifted the former #1 overall pick a 5-year, $170 million max contract extension. Surprising only in that Simmons' game has been under a microscope since entering the league. You know, because he can't really shoot outside of how many feet, see?
The highlight right there, you showed 10 plays. 5 feet was the longest shot he made.
I love it. But the Sixers don't care. They are clearly all in, banking on him learning how to shoot outside of 5 feet. Broussard, how much of the Sixers' future is actually dependent on Simmons' development?
Well, look, there are other factors. Obviously, Joel Embiid's health and how good a physical shape he is in. Brett Brown's coaching, especially late game situations, and bringing out the best in his 2 young stars. And then they have to find a closer. Like, I like them. I think they've improved. But who's the closer? Last year it was Jimmy Butler. And he did a great job of it. So those are factors as well in their development. But obviously, Ben Simmons, I mean, we know, look, in the 80s, the 90s, the early 2000s, he would have been fine playing like this. But in today's NBA, you have to have a jump shot.
Yeah, that's relatively simple. He was just born the wrong day.
Look, a lot of this, Chris, this is mental to a degree.
It has to be.
It has to be, because he won't even take the shots. It's one thing to just be a guy that can't shoot very well and you miss a lot. He won't even take the shots. Now, you can override your lack of a jumper to some degree if he were aggressive all the time. He's not to the Lonzo Ball extreme where you have no idea what he's going to do when he shows up, but his motor does run hot and cold. You saw it against Brooklyn. Now, Embiid was out, so the lane was a little less clogged. But when he was aggressive, he scored 31 points. He still couldn't shoot, but he scored 31 points. If he's aggressive like Giannis, because if they back up and give you 5 or 6 feet, if you attack, you're tall, you can finish over guys. If they collapse on you, you can find your open teammates. So that would alleviate some of the issues. But he still obviously has to add this jumper. And Philadelphia bears some responsibility, too. Because you just gave the dude a max contract. You need to be able to hold his feet to the fire and make sure he's improving.
Yeah, basketball development, since they've drafted him, they have not developed his skills. And I don't believe that he's a point guard. So I have more of a problem with them thinking that he's going to be the point guard and run the team than his inability to shoot. Because you can't have both, all right? I mean, what is he, a bigger Rondo? I mean, because Rondo can shoot the ball better than him.
Everyone can.
I mean, just.
Now, I agree with you, see, that he clearly lacks some of the stuff as far as just knowing how to run a team and management and all that. But don't you think in today's NBA, he can get away with playing point guard and being effective?
He can get away with during the regular season. But it's still a problem in the fourth quarter. I've been to watch too many Philadelphia games in person where what happens the first quarter and what happens in the fourth quarter, they're totally different. He doesn't understand. The only play they typically run for him on the offensive end is a dribble handoff because he doesn't have the savviness to be able to set guys up, to be able to get guys open, because he's not a point guard. He's a point forward. He's very athletic. He's a guy who can dribble the basketball. And now everyone who can dribble, we think, oh, he's a point guard. No, he is everything but a point guard. He's a great athlete. Back to your point in the Brooklyn series, when Dudley had said some things about him and then he responded, I wish he would play that way. Just be a bull in a china shop. Get into the paint, take advantage of what you have in your athleticism, your ability to be able to go off the bounce and do it on a regular. Right now, he doesn't do it consistent enough, and it's going to be a problem. I would be shocked if he's able to make it through this whole contract in Philadelphia. I believe they're going to move off of him.
Well, listen, the question is, are they making a huge mistake giving him a max contract? Not if he gets over what I agree with you is more mental than physical. Chris, when's the last time you played high-level competitive basketball? 20 years? Yeah. Longer? Or something like that?
Something like that.
If you went on a court today, you could shoot 30% from 3. Because and you haven't Chris, you haven't played high-level competitive basketball in just long.
Yeah. I disagree with you guys that it's mental.
High school.
He doesn't have a shot. All right, so that is not mental. So even if we went on the court, our basketball fundamentals allow us to be able to shoot from the three right now. So that's not
But
mental.
I think the fact that he won't even take the shot.
But not even just the three.
This is the reason why he won't take them. He's taking them privately. And what he's seen,
and making more, though. In private, he'll make more of his jump shots. Now, I agree. Some of it's physical, too. But I'm saying his jump shot is not, I mean...
It's not the worst looking jump shot in the league. I've seen him shoot free throws. Like, and I understand that's different. It's a set shot to a degree. But the point is, Chris, like, there's no one in the... You cannot convince me he has the worst jump shot in the league. You can't. And yet he shoots fewer jump shots than any player in the league that plays his minutes. Fewer than anybody. Right. Took 25 shots outside of 16 feet all of last season. That has to be partially
mental. The free throws are part of it. He shot 58% his whole career. The basket's not moving. No one's moving. His fundamentals are not good. His left elbow is outside of his body. Now, it's not the worst. It's not the worst jump shot, but it's one of the most fundamentally sound ones. His elbow is not up under him. His elbow is out to the side. If you watch the video, he shoots half the time with his right hand. So now, when you get in a pinch, which hand do I shoot with? So,
and that's up here, you know, he's not confident when you're switching your shot like that. It's like LeBron at the free throw line when he was switching everything. That's mental. When you go through different forms. One year had like 17 different forms at the foul line.
And it's not an excuse, by the way. This is on him, especially now that he's gotten this money. He was the #1 pick, so you got big money then, the most money you can get in your draft class. He's now gotten the max extension. This is the only hurdle left for him. He's an excellent defender. He's an excellent rebounder. I think he has better point guard instincts than Chris gives him credit for, even if he's not a true point guard. We know how good he is in transition. We know what he can do at the rim. But this is such a gaping hole. It puts such a hard ceiling on what he can become.
But does the contract help or hinder his ability, desire, mental, whatever it is, to get over that hump? I mean, he's going to say, well, the Sixers believe in me. I don't need to be out there practicing. Or is it, all right, I have all this money now, I better go out and perform?
He's going to need two things. One, he's going to need people around him to push him, that he will listen to, that will push him to improve in that area. And then secondly, this happens with quite a few players. When you're young, you want to be a star and you want to get that max deal. And then once you get that and kind of establish yourself in that regard, when you don't win, the criticism comes. Even if you're doing well. Like Anthony Davis, now it's like, look, he's got to start winning, or maybe he's not as good as we think. Ben Simmons has to get that type of drive to say, look, this is the next thing for me. This is what it's going to take for me to win. And that's the only thing that's going to get him in the gym. Now, I've heard he's working out harder this summer, than he has in the past. They better hope so. And Chris, I've even brought this up. Chris Paul. Like, again, I wouldn't do it now, but if I'm Philadelphia, I would keep an eye on this situation with Ben Simmons and Chris Paul. Because if you put Chris Paul with that team...
It's the perfect fit.
And they would have a chance to win the East. And maybe you get a Dennis Schroeder with it as some insurance in case Chris Paul is injured. But that's something I would watch if I'm Philadelphia, because I agree with you. Something's going to have to give at some point if he can't develop it.
When Ben Simmons came out of college, which happens to be 4 seasons ago, not 3 seasons ago, because we gave him the red shirt year.
Yep.
Oh, let's not forget that. He had a year just to work on his body, to work on his basketball game, and then he's played a couple NBA seasons. So, man, this is not my fault, all right? A professional athlete, you are paid to get better at your weakness. The greatest that have ever played this game, you know what they do? They go home, write down their weaknesses, and they spend 90% of their time working on those weaknesses, 10% of the time working on their strengths. Ben Simmons has decided to do something else. I've been around sports for 40 years. It's not my fault that he can't shoot the basketball. Philadelphia, they took a calculated risk. I don't believe it's a mistake because he is an asset. He is an all-star. But I would be shocked if he finishes his career there in Philadelphia through this contract. And I will be shocked. I'm willing to bet somebody some money. He will not be able to shoot from 15 feet this year. And I got a little money.
Happy birthday,
We
Ben
want to bet on
Simmons.
if he can
15 feet.
Stick around.
Yeah, we'll set the terms.
No
Is
problem.
it title or bust for the Lakers next
No
year?
It's real
You're going to
bad.
need a third job.